Hey, and we're back. All right, we are picking up Tuesday. So, Kevin has just made a poem on a page not ripped from a book, but photocopied by Mrs. Little and left for him to find as he's shelving books during his detention. So now it's Tuesday. Okay, 1. On my desk this morning, a familiar page copied from a familiar notebook about a familiar topic having to do with a familiar mole on a familiar teacher's face. 2. On every desk, a familiar page copied from a familiar notebook about a familiar topic having to do with a familiar mole on a familiar teacher's face. 3. On Robin's moth face, a familiar look copied from a familiar face I used to see in a familiar mirror when I was stuffing a familiar someone under the familiar sinks. 4. Stolen a page from your own book. That was Mrs. Smithson. She actually said it in her familiar voice out loud before she grabbed most of the papers and recycled them. I am not a stone. I am not a rock. I am not giant and unblinking and cold. There is an earthquake in my guts, shaking and quaking, quaking and shaking, cracking and jagged and cracking, breaking everything into sharp points, poking my insides until I want to scream. But instead, I put my head on my desk and close my eyes slowly and wonder how the earthquake in my guts isn't shaking the whole classroom. Kelly looks at me. Her head is on her desk too. Those freckles are the same color as the desk, like the desk has splashed a little on her face. She blinks. I blink. She slides the paper into her lap, the paper with my hairy poem. She crumples it and drops it on the floor. She smiles. I stare. One side of my mouth twitches up. It's hard to smile with so many jagged places. Thursday, 001.94. Not the poetry section, the mystery section, but there's a book misshelved, a book with poems and quotes, short and funny, that go off like firecrackers in my brain, surprising me until I laugh and laugh for the first time in days and days. And I see her smile, Mrs. Little, behind the checkout desk, not looking up. I put my poem in the book and put the book on the right shelf with the other poems. Maybe Mrs. Little will find it like I found her misshelved book, and maybe she will laugh with fireworks in her brain. Later Thursday. Let's see. Better to be a brainy turd than a turd-like brain. Kevin. This is Kevin rewriting Shakespeare. Friday. Instead of chasing Kelly or punching Giant John like pizza dough, I try to be Godzilla to Robin's Mothra. I am bigger, but he is suddenly meaner. My words in my notebook have given him power over me, which isn't fair. Paul would say it is kind of fair in a karma kind of way, but never forget, Paul is annoying. I see the library window from the recess field. Maybe I could go there like Godzilla in the ocean, regenerate my powers, but no. Robin and I shout at each other, shooting fire from our mouths, angry enemies. He still wants to be the poetry bandit. He still wants all the credit. When I get close to his face, the fire from my mouth to his ear burns the truth in his head. Mrs. Little knows about me and the books. Hartwick knows about me and the books. The poetry bandit has been discovered. The poetry bandit is done. Like a moth to flame, I lure Robin in with my tractor beam of words. I call him all the worst things, a baby, a jealous nerd, ugly. But he is word-proof now, a fireproof moth. He does not combust, he expands. Kevin, poetry boy, he yells. Kevin has 900 brothers who all hate him. Kevin has no friends. Robin grows 10 times bigger than my Godzilla, swollen with angry revenge. Kelly grabs my hand in the middle of the shouting fight with Robin. My face catches on fire. She drags me off. She says, maybe if you apologize to him, he'll stop? And I say, bleh, 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 because she's holding my hand. 808.51. Not the poetry section again. I smile. There is a note, a flyer. I unfold it as if it is a treasure map or a secret message from the FBI. Instead, it is an announcement. Beatnik's Brews, Poetry Night, Friday, 8 p.m., and a handwritten note. If your parents give permission, I can give you a ride. I look at the checkout desk and think about the silver car with a dent that I sometimes see Mrs. Little climb into after school. I wonder if it smells funny in that car, if the AC works, what music scrambles from the speakers. Mrs. Little glances up over her half-rectangle glasses and smiles. The light catches the diamonds on the sides of her glasses, or the fake diamonds, or whatever. Her whole face is sparkly, and for just a speck of a second, I can see what she looked like when she wasn't 9,000 years old. I smile back. I put my poem in the book and put the book on the right shelf with the other poems. Maybe Mrs. Little will find it, like I found her folded flyer, and maybe she'll smile at the words I wrote. Here's a Beatnik's Brews Poetry Night. And there's her note. If your parents give you permission, I can give you a ride. And Kevin right over here. Brain blows a fuse. And he's got, come share your best or worst work at Friday's open mic night. All ages welcome. Poetry Slammin' starts at 8. Be there or be square. And he wrote, fright, about reading his poetry out loud. Friday, crazy, and be there. He wrote late p.m. That's right, for 8 p.m. Later Friday. I don't sing anything myself today. Instead, I slide a paper under the door and run fast to my room before Petey can call me a turd. Can you guess what he's doing there? Sliding a paper under the door for Petey. Well, we'll find out next time. All right.